Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now, in today's video on the yield network, we are going to be going over what to do with your yield farming positions when we have a market dip such as this. Bitcoin is down quite a bit over the past 48 hours. It went from 100K all the way down to about 94 this morning. So what do you do when this happens? Of course, pretty much the entire market is down. Now, of course, we are in a bull market. This happens all the time in a bull market. It's not going to be up and to the right the whole time. There is going to be some pullbacks. This came out of nowhere, though, which was interesting. And yeah, so I'm going to be explaining what to do when there is a bit of a dump. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of my positions here. So you can see we are in range in the majority of them. My virtual and WETH position is out of range. And that's fine. This is a completely volatile position. I put $500 into this. You can see it's down at 304. But I'm not too concerned about that because this was a complete gamble play. Virtuals is an AI token, and this is paired to WETH. So this is an extremely risky position that I went in. And the only reason I went into this position is for the cash flow. And I did snuggle rebalance it this morning. You can see it's just out of range. That might pop back into range whilst I'm recording this video, to be honest. But this is way out earned the impermanent loss on that, so I'm not too concerned. But what happens if your positions are out of range? So as you can see, I'm actually in range on all of these other than this, which I'm not concerned about. Obviously, the APR is pretty low at 82.5%. It was very high yesterday when the market was sort of coming down because, of course, people were, panic selling or whatever the case may be. But it was up a lot yesterday. This was over 200, 300%, 400% yesterday, which is crazy. At the moment, it's down quite a bit, sort of hovering at 82%. This is sort of on the lower end that this usually goes. I see it anywhere between 80 and it usually hovers around 100 to 150%. But of course, when the market is dumping like this and when there's not too many or when there's a lot of people swapping tokens, then of course, these positions do pick up. On the contrary, though, when it goes the other way, and there's not much happening and people are just kind of sitting now, there's not too much happening. So what do I do when my positions are out of range? So this is a perfect example. I rebalanced this on Monday. Today is Wednesday. This SUI position here that I have over on Turbo's Finance, and you can see this is sat between the range of 465 and 598, and the current price of SUI is 457. So this is out of range. So what do I do when these things go out of range? Well, there's two things I will do, okay? If the market is going extremely crazy and APRs are very high because there's a lot of volume going on, then I may do a snuggle rebalance. Now, what is snuggle rebalancing? So I'm using VFAT here. I'm going to explain what snuggling is now. So I use VFAT, and snuggling is, we can do an exact sort of a demonstration on this right now. So you can see my range is here, right? This current position that's currently out of range, this is the range that it is. And you can see it is just out of range. It's probably going to come back in a second. But you can see we are out of range on the bottom end of the scale. So we are on the virtual side, we are out of range. So what I would do, what a snuggle rebalance is just rebalancing it so you can do the minimum amount on this side. Okay, and then I would just go ahead and rebalance that just to get it back into range. So what it would do, as you can see, I am converted all in virtuals at the moment. So what it would do is it would swap $100 for $100 of WETH just to get me back into range and earning fees again. So you're not locking in any much impermanent loss at all when doing this. You're simply just getting it back into range. So I may snuggle it once or twice a day if the market is going insane. Right now, I'm not doing that. But if I think it's going to stay out of range for a while, let's say Bitcoin does a massive dump, I may snuggle it back into range just to start earning some fees on it once again. But in this case here, for a market like this, and it just depends on your strategy and how you want to, sort of work that out. But for me right now, I wait. I wait at least 24 hours before, typically I wait at least 24 hours before doing anything, because usually within 24 hours, the market will either, sort of stable, or if it's kind of like a flash dump like this, you can see we're already starting to slowly recover from that small dump that we had. So that is what I do when my positions are out of range. I will either snuggle rebalance just on the side that it's out. So here, for example, I will just go min price is 0, so the min price is exactly what it is now, and then I would have a couple percentage points on the upside to start earning fees again. I hope that makes sense. You're just snuggling it so it's just back into range. It's a don't get too caught up on the terminology. That's how it is. You're kind of just rebalancing it a tiny bit just so it's just back into range. It's not a very optimal position width, but it's okay if you want to start earning fees again temporarily. So that is what I do when my positions are out of range and the market is going crazy. I may do a snuggle rebalance. However, I typically wait 24, maybe even 48 hours, 2 days before it goes back into range before I do anything. So that is what I do with my positions when we are out of range, when the market is going down. And you can see my APR has gone down quite a bit. But again, I'm just going to leave this. I could rebalance these positions. Like this WETH and USDC position is a fairly wide range at 17%. I could go ahead and rebalance this back in so it's something a bit like this, and you can see that almost doubles my APR. Same with the Bitcoin position. This 10% isn't too bad actually, but I could go ahead and rebalance this so it's something like this, and again that almost doubles my APR on that position as well. So that is what I do if I am out of range on my positions. Nothing too crazy there. And I just wanted, I had a couple of questions on the video that I made the other day on this Aave positions here on borrowing and lending. So what happened, essentially, I just wanted to clarify a few things. So you can see here that the liquidation price, okay, is, if we go to risk details here, the liquidation threshold is 83%. So if you have an 83% borrow to loan ratio, so if you've loaned out $100 and you borrow 83, you are right on that. Okay, you will get liquidated once it kind of adds up to 83% borrowed to loaned. Now, of course, that can happen through token values going down, or that could happen due to over leveraging and borrowing too much. So there's a lot of reasons that can happen. So in that case, what I would do is I would potentially borrow 50% of this 83. Because when you borrow 50% of this 83%, then you can withstand a 50% drop in the market for you to then be liquidated. So what I would do in this scenario is I would go ahead and 83% liquidation threshold. So I would borrow no more than maybe 40%, 41% or something. So you can see your health factor is pretty important as well. This is pretty healthy. If this gets down to 1, then you will get liquidated essentially. So I did borrow this $65. I went ahead and put that into a position. This is what this WETH and USDC position is actually. But I could go ahead and pay this $65 back right now. I've got 340 USDC there. I've got 1,000 and 1.1k USD BC, which is USDC base. I've got 1,100 that I could go ahead and pay this back with. That's not an issue. So yeah, that's it. Okay. The next video I am going to do is going to be a video on getting started with yield farming and starting with a smaller balance and then building up. I do want to do a big sort of, not lump sum, but I do want to start scaling a lot more money into this position. I just thought in these initial videos, I will keep it small-ish. I know $8,500 could be a lot of money for some people, but I wanted to start around this level before I then start putting in a bunch more money and scaling, because I want to kind of give you, beginner guides and stuff like that and show you the way with that size sort of portfolio, if that makes sense. Instead of me putting, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100K into here, I thought it'd be good to start around, smaller compared to what I want to be doing, and then sort of giving you those sort of examples and videos with a smaller balance. So that is going to be it for this video. The main sort of thing that I wanted to get across is what I do when the market does dump in yield farming and how to manage that. I either, if the market is going absolutely insane, I think it's going to keep dumping, then, and there's going to be a lot of volume, because volume equals fees. If there's more volume, then these APRs are going to be higher. So I may snuggle rebalance a couple of times to get it back into range to earn fees whilst it's going down. Or I will simply just leave it for 24, 48 hours before making a decision on what to do, because the last thing I want to do is make quick, sort of emotional based decisions based on this. If you see this plummeting, right, or these deposit values plummeting because you're out of range, and you see a day reward at 0 or less than what it typically is. This was at $70-$80 yesterday. You see that, and then you start panicking, and that's when you make sort of bad decisions, and you can really hurt yourself in terms of what your portfolio is looking like. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. A bit of a rant there, a bit of an update on the RV, and a bit more clarification on that. I hope that helped. If you have any questions regarding yield farming, please let me know down below. There's going to be a lot of consistent videos this year. And yeah, I am currently in the middle of creating a free Discord server for the Yield Network. So if you want to hang out with other yield farmers or ask me questions one-to-one, then there will be a Discord server in the description of the videos coming very soon. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below what you think. If you could please hit the like button, that gets the channel out to a wider audience. I do appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel if you like yield farming, you want to see more. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.